these teams that want to play hyper aggressive roamers, you're gonna have heroes that really don't care if they get shut down in lane. Maybe like some Dragon Knight, sort of Shadow Fiend, heroes that can catch up on farm, or you can pick heroes that are really strong in lane and just fight their roam. So that Alchemist is one of the first class where even if you shut him down really early, he'll always come back into the game and catch up.
There it is, boys.
They're back. They're back to doing Alchemist first too, not wanting it to get removed. It's just, yeah, they're just probably their most comfortable hero. They've been running it with some versatility as well, putting it in mid and safe lane. So there's at least that kind of like hidden option that they have.
Any chance we see an AA to counter it? Or what else is there to counter Alchemist?
Haven't seen a single AA all tournament.
AACM combo.
A just feels like such a lackluster hero to me right now. Like, he is good in certain situations, like say you play against some Doom, I think that was mentioned before in a panel, or an Alchemist, but I don't think you want to pick a hero just to be an OT, and that's really what AA becomes, I feel like.
But his talents.
Yeah, he has 35 HP regen.
It's 35
now?
now?
I think it's 35 now.
Oh my god.
Is it 35?
I'm checking.
I remember it being, I remember it being 30.
Insane.
It was 30. It was 25 at first, then it got pushed to 30. I don't know. Maybe it is 35 now, but OG goes for the S4 Batrider, staple hero.
It's interesting looking at the contested amount of heroes. The total heroes picked and contested, Random have the most of all with 59, but Faceless aren't short of a few contested heroes either. When you look back, they've had 19 heroes banned against them, Ben, that they've never picked, which suggests that there's an awful lot of heroes left in their pool if they need them.
Definitely.
Just a short introduction. It's 30 on AA. I was wrong.
30?
I thought it might have gotten buffed
Only
last patch
30
too.
a second.
Only 30.
What he got cold feet reduced cooldown last patch, and I think that was probably the only thing. I don't remember which
That
other
was
ones,
Ice Vortex reduced cooldown. I mean, if it's 35, he'd be first picked. But since only 30, he's not picked or banned at all. That's how Dota works.
I like the Slark grab, very good versus the Batrider, and it also matches well versus the Alchemist going into like later stages of the game. Benefits enormously from Crystal Maiden Aura. You can even probably skip one of those small items, like maybe skip the raindrop, go just have the Aquila instead.
One of their most picked during the Kiev Major alongside Crystal Maiden, which is their most picked.
I don't know if I've ever seen this, like OG picking an Alchemist plus their offlaner. Because usually, usually it means that if you show your offlaner, they're going to counter it with a carry, and then your supports can roam onto the Alchemist. So, you know, we might actually see a support battle right here. It's sort of unlikely, but it's a real possibility this game, because I wouldn't, like, when I pick Alchemist, I want my side lanes to win, because then the Alchemist, you know, he's not bad 1v1. He's bad when he gets ganked and pressured, his jungle gets invaded. But it's a real possibility this game.
I wouldn't chance to ban out 4 supports.
When
they've already banned 2.
Like, when I pick Alchemist, I want my side lanes to win, because then the Alchemist, you know, he's not bad 1v1. He's bad when he gets ganked. Yeah, it's not a bad route to go, especially when you have one of the strongest ones in CM. I think something that CM specifically does is she opens up your support pool with more heroes. You can pick pretty much almost any tanky support with CM and you'll have a good support combo.
Which is, OG's is narrowing somewhat.
I like this Disruptor ban. They're trying to give Black just a good game. I mean, Disruptor versus Slark is one of the harder matchups, and I mean, it's a really good Aghanims hero as well with an Alchemist. Gives him more catch.
I think something else to be said about banning heroes is if you ban heroes that you're definitely not going to pick, like Faceless probably won't pick Disruptor, CM, Slark, it's never really going to be a bad ban.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of times where like you might ban a Terrorblade and then the next pick comes, you're like, oh, I wish I had Terrorblade in a pool. That won't happen with Disruptor.
Taking out Shadow Fiend from OG.
You know what is left in here? Not really picked between these two, but the Ricky's there.
That's true, yeah.
That hero's so interesting to me how he's being picked. Some teams are straight up first picking him. Some teams are completely ignored.
Yeah, these two have not played it at all at Kiev Major.
I think it's a style kind of thing, right? Like a lot of these teams which pick the Ricky love to have, they have like that one iconic, it's like this guy's the roamer. This guy's going to run around, be like that vision. It's the teams that also really like to have that like walking ward kind of thing.
Annoying ward.
I feel like OG's a little bit, at least like changed a little bit from that. Jirax used to be like the super hard roamer, but since they've been nerfed, he's playing more of like, okay, let's secure the safe lane, and then I can start making like those kind of moves afterwards.
Yeah, he's definitely moved away from the Earth Spirit as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, that hero hasn't had a lot of success. Yeah. To be honest though, I think Jirax would be a really good Ricky. I think what set him apart as a roamer, like even on Heroes of Earth Spirit, is how he would get vision with the heroes. When I watched his Earth Spirit, he would like roll onto random hills and stand there and be a ward. And I think Ricky's something similar in a lot of cases.
And it's amazing versus Slark. Like the silence is always extremely good in the later stages. So.
Okay, so instead they're going to go for the Shaman.
8-second shackle.
Taking Shackle.
Indeed.
Gives them an objective taker from a support. Always very, very good. Gives them like a bit more team fight as well.
Anytime you
twice already here as well.
yeah, anytime you have like a high farm hero, you're gonna want to open up the map by taking at least 1 or 2 tier 1s.
Yeah.
Shadow Shaman definitely does that well. I'd just like to mention something about the Visage Man. Slark used to be pretty good at Visage because when you use your Death Pact, is that the spell name?
Dark Pact.
Dark Pact. I don't know any spell names. When you use your Keel, it would remove all of Gravekeeper's Cloak from Visage, but now they change the spell bit and you need to take 50 damage for the layers to get removed. So what happens is Slark can't kill Visage anymore, even though he has that multi-hit thing.
So we get the Abaddon.
Abaddon.
Yep.
Is that what we're going for now?
Sure.
I don't know what's happening.
I mean, very good Ice Hero. It's very good versus the Shadow Shaman and the Bat Rider to remove the disables. Can be very strong. Now they have like 2 heroes that can kind of remove their own disables, and OG goes for the S4 Bat Riders or the S4 Enigma. So Bat Rider support is looking like it's highly
Yeah,
gonna
it seems
be.
like that. I think Enigma's one of the heroes when you play Slark, you're like, I do not want to play versus hero. He ruins my hero.
Yeah.
But they had a Bat Rider, so they sort of debated them.
And I'll tell you what, I think this is brilliant because it forced them into focusing on banning more supports, which they did. And that actually was what OG potentially wanted them to do, so they didn't ban the Enigma second phase.
And this is kind of my fear that I was like stating before for Faceless. Is OG now has pretty strong team fight. You look at Faceless, these heroes they're okay, but they take some time to build up. OG, once they get their 6s, they're ready to go, even though they have an Alchemist.
Something to be said about Rasa versus Abaddon. Is it? Oh my god, you guys screwed me up with it. Abaddon. Is it Abaddon or Abaddon?
Abaddon. Abaddon.
About Abaddon is that
Abaddon.
even though, oh my god, even though Isis hero in the offlane has CM Aura to cast a lot of shield, Shadow Shaman with his recent buff to his base damage, his 68 base damage at level 1, is one of the best zoning heroes. So I expect Faceless to pick a hero to go up there with him, but they ruined it because they picked too fast. But yeah, I like the Ogre Magi. I think that they see a vulnerability in OG's draft and that they have some slow heroes. Enigma's not particularly fast, Alchemist not particularly fast, Shadow Shaman sort of, well, he's a very slow movement speed hero. The Ogre will be able to sort of roam the map and go to different lanes. The Ogre Magi. Really I think that they see a vulnerability in OG's draft and that they have some slow, fast.
They haven't played it 3 times in his entire career.
Wait, Fly's played it?
No, they have put Enigma as support. They've put like the jungle Enigma as well.
Do you know the last
before.
time Genex played Bat Rider support?
TI?
Boston?
It was Boston.
Boston
okay.
against Amphibian.
He played Enigma not that long ago, too.
They did lose, though, I think, that game. That was at DAC.
But when you've got S4 in this kind of form?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I would prefer the Enigma offlane this game. I think,
yeah, I too.
I think he has a pretty easy lane. They do have a bit of kill threat on him, but if he plays it defensively, he's eventually going to win that game. What's going to happen with Enigma is, like, if he doesn't die, they're eventually going to rotate down the Shadow Shaman when Enigma has 6, and they will kill whoever's in that bottom lane.
Ban out the Venge, just ban out a strong safe laner. I guess the Alchemist would be mid lane. Gives them the more objective taking, not just depending on the Shadow Shaman.
Doesn't that assume that Slark would go mid, though? Or sorry, never mind. I'm completely wrong. So what's left for Jebs? How do you deal with this Enigma? Because we've seen this so many times from OG where you like take fights, so-and-so is kind of even until Enigma gets BKB, and then you just straight lose all the team fights. So do you need a solution versus the Enigma? Do you need to end it earlier? Do you just accept that fact?
He needs a vision hero, and they also need some burst. I think their lineup lacks burst right now.
They play Tiny. I mean,
I think maybe Invoker? I'm not sure. It's a bit rough into the Bat Rider. But like, I want, like, see, Abaddon and Ogre, they're very good at towers, but if you just have just a little bit more, your push becomes insane. And then you're always going to be able to force OG to react to you. And since OG are picking lineups like Alchemist and Shadow Shaman, they might not be the best at reacting.
What other options are there? We see Medusa. Medusa actually might be able to take a late game. I do like the
Morphling.
Pierce versus Enigma.
That's a good pick.
Morphling Slark, though.
Morphling mid versus Alchemist has been the sort of Chinese SEA counterpick to the Alchemist. He's actually very good versus Alchemist in lane. He has pretty high kill threat with ganks, and his base damage is high enough that when Alchemist asks for it, you just deny everything. You have high armor too.
Two very slippery cores, the Slark and the Morphling,
The
versus
one
just the Rasta.
thing though is Shadow Shaman is very good versus Morphling, just because you get Hex the Replicate. That matchup gets weird with Ethereal Blade, but generally I think if you can lock down Morphling for 8 seconds with your Shackle, you're going to win the fight.
And it's super good, like
have
Morphling.
Abba.
Yeah, there is Abba, but
They also have Slark to find a Shadow Shaman, so
they go, wow, okay, they go. So it is an Alk short lane.
Who do you put mid now? If you're Faceless.
Odie. Oh, sorry.
You're kind of locked in your Morphling mid already, I feel.
Yeah, I think you
That's
have.
hard.
I think it's not too bad with Ogre Magi.
Okay,
Morphling
that's a good point.
Morphling is underrated as a mid hero. He's very high base damage, attacks very quickly, and he's very good in these like small clashes where his low HP pool doesn't become a factor.
I'm still. I think. Look, just like I was saying before, I'm very scared for Faces because I don't really see when they can really take fights. I think they have to just like split it up and get super farmed. They have to come out of the laning phase very far ahead because OG, they're 5-man. They're even like they're 40 heroes without the Alchemist is very scary and very intimidating.
I think the lack of an AoE disable on Faceless is really hindering them at this point. Look at the team fight on OG.
Yeah.
It's just, it looks a bit rough.
Let's get some predictions. We'll start with Ben, as soon as you're in the cursed chair of number 4.
I'll go with Faceless. I think they got baited by the Batrider pick, and now their team fight is just weak. They have no solution versus Enigma, and S4 is going to get those black holes.
Did you mean you would go with OG then?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'll go with OG. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, producers.
They're going to start picking them for you. You know that, right?
I'm yeah 100% with OG. I really love their team fight. The only thing is maybe like the Batrider could suffer a bit, but yeah, I don't see when Faceless can take fights unless they come out super far ahead in the lanes.
Okay.
I'll also take OG. I think that with a lineup like Faceless, what you're planning to do is you're trying to cut the ways with Slark, you're trying to cut the ways with Morphling, start the game, sort of reach that E-Blade and play that way. But I think OG have sort of predicted how Faceless want to play, and they've drafted tools like Shadow Shaman to play against that. They'll be able to break the high ground, break the towers.
Okay. Thank you to all 3 of our panel members. They have gone for a clean sweep. It is OG that they've picked this time round. And are OG the favourites to retain their crown? Or not? They're about to find out as we head into Game 1 with our commentary team in the Palace of Arts.
In a cruel twist of fate, the only 2 Southeast Asian teams here at the Kiev Major were forced to face up against each other in the very first round. Now, Faceless represents the hopes and dreams of the Southeast Asian scene as they go toe-to-toe with the green giant that is OG. The pressure is sure to be mounting, Kevin. This is going to be a tough best of 3 for Faceless. Did they start this one off on the right foot? You said you liked the draft.
I do like the Morphling last pick. It makes their lanes a little bit iffy, but I do think that a Morphling can give you some good solutions against an Enigma. I think that's the big key hero that OG's been using a lot of their sets to dominate games, so you need something that will be semi-survivable even if you get Black Hold. You need something that has maybe the burst potential to just kill the Enigma at the start. Maybe Morphling can do that.
What about playstyle-wise? I mean, as a whole, do you think Faceless are able to really match up against OG? Say we push this late game, right? We've got an Alchemist and an OD on one side. We've got a Slark and Morphling on the other side. Do you think Faceless has what it takes to be able to beat out OG, who are probably one of the more prominent team fighters and notorious for strong late game presence?
It's going to be pretty tough for sure, but things like Bloodlust can definitely make up a lot of that ground, and I do think the Abaddon pick was really solid. There's a lot of disables on OG. Abaddon offsets that. And like you mentioned during the draft, the Morphling can also replicate Alchemist with his Radiance. So I think there's definitely some tools that they have to maybe deal with this, but not 100% if they're gonna be able to match it. I think one other point of vulnerability for OG is that it looks like it's going to be a jungling Enigma, and it's actually S4 playing it, so that means
Support Batrider.
Support Batrider. So
Jarex has already picked up the boots first on this bat, so I'm not sure exactly what his plan is going to be. We've seen a number of support Batriders in the past. They've always been very disruptive presence, but can be a little hit or miss.
So I think the reason they're doing this is because historically S4 has a lot more experience playing Enigma, and a lot of times Enigma does start in the jungle anyways just because you get a really fast level 4 kind of a thing. And as a Batrider, he should be semi-comfortable in the offlane. The crucial move is do not get pounced. If you get pounced, you're caught pretty much. So can Ogre Magi set that up? Can Crystal Maiden set that up? That's what they got to worry about. And can Ogre actually be the roaming hero that Faceless needs? I was expecting, I mean, they didn't know the Enigma pick was coming. I think the Ogre was afterwards, but I'm sure they wish that was like a Ricky Maru, Bounty Hunter, something like that would be a lot more useful.
Boy, this is going to be something else. You can see the crowd hyped as always here at the Kiev Major. It's definitely been one of the better crowds that we've seen at majors. We've said it plenty of times, right? The CIS scene needs to be able to have a major, and they have certainly turned up at this tournament. It's been a pleasure to be able to see all the fans, especially the Russian casters are sitting next to us, and you could see the line. It just goes back and back and back in between series because they all want to be able to get a signature from Casper or Vlad.
Those casters don't even have to stand up and the line starts. I just look over, there's a line. It's the middle of the game. There's no casters there. There's still a line. I don't know what it's for, but those guys are waiting for something important.
I was talking to a guy. He spoke English really well, but he's from the CIS region. He listens to a lot of the Russian casters. I asked him what the difference was between the casting scene. He said the Russians are a lot more personable and a lot more. They're funnier than us, basically, Kevin. So what I'm saying is,
get funny.
As my analyst and my color caster here,
yeah,
pull out some good jokes for us. All right, we got to win her over some of these Russian fans away from the Russian casters.
They also speak Russian, and we don't. Is that part important? I think it is.
I'm just saying for the dual language people.
Okay.
We got to win them over to the English-speaking side, right? All right, we're finally getting into this game. Game number 1 of Faceless versus OG. No more bullshitting from us. We're going to see already the push out from OG. They actually tried to get their Batrider in a good position with these boots and the smoke up. I'm wondering if he's going to do something that's typical for regular offlane Batriders where you sneak behind and you try and pull the creep wave, that first creep wave that comes in while the Enigma denies one of the Eidolons and then goes jungle with it, or if they're just going to try and straight up lane together. I have no idea what the plan is from OG, but I'm sure it's a good one.
You know, one thing that's actually scary about this dual offlane with the Bat is that if Ogre does roll in and try to zone that Enigma, if Batrider just shows up, Ogre Magi dies. Because like sticky Napalm in a very long chase is going to guarantee you a kill. So that's maybe the one thing that's pretty scary here for XY. He also didn't go boots first. He went Orb of Venom instead. So that may make a big impact.
What about our mid matchup? We have a mid Jabs Morphling facing up against Anna's OD.
I think it's going to work well because I think that's where Ogre Magi is going based on his current positioning.
So he's going to be the disruptive force that kind of keeps the OD down in the beginning.
Slap the OD. He's got 4 armor. Ogre's got 8. How do you beat that?
I mean, every single offlaner knows, because most of the time it's safe lane Morphling. Morphling is notorious for just being able to control the lane really well, get all the last hits, and all the denies. So if you've got an Ogre up in this OD's face, he can't really get forward to the creep wave, then Jabs is going to be denying everything. He's going to be off to a very early experience lead. But Jarex does seem to try and match XY's Ogre, and we're going to have a duo versus duo in the mid.
Okay, so OG is switching it up just a little bit based on where Faceless ends up. So they have no magic sticks here either, so these napalm stacks are just going to continue most likely. And it's going to make their turn rate awful and their movement speed weak and all that important stuff. Another deny on the range creep as well.
There's a significant difference between OG and Faceless' lineup where we have Ice, who has to match up against the Alchemist and the Shadow Shaman, so he's going up against a dual lane, a Shadow Shaman dual lane, which is also very difficult. Meanwhile, we have on the bottom side, Black has a 1v1 against the Enigma. The reason is because Crystal Main is going to be doing that thing where she starts off jungle, gets her level 3 as soon as possible, and then she can start having an impact in the laning phase. But she really wants to be able to have that aura up because the heroes like the Slark, like the Abat, really take advantage of it.
Yeah, and it's not just that. If she did go to the lane, a lot of CMs have been spending more time trying to zone the offlaner. But you're not going to be able to do that against an Enigma who has Eidolons. CM at most would be able to frostbite one of them, but be taking a lot of right clicks in the meantime. So just the move to go for on Nuts. And as he goes to the safe lane, we'll see if he notices his camps blocked, because that was one of the nice things that Jarex did right at the start of the game. Smoked to the off lane, didn't get broken by Black, and he blocked both camps, which means that CM is basically forced to spend time far away, which means reacting to ganks or trying to help get Enigma kills will take a lot more dedication.
Nuts does come in and is going to be able to take away the sentry blocking out the hard camp. That's the one he really needs to release, but it's still going to be a wait until the 3-minute mark.
Oh, haste rune on Batrider. This is really bad for CM.
God.
Almost for sure. Oh, he's actually short on mana. If he had 10 more mana.
Nuts. Pretty sure you're going to be dying here. Maybe pick up the bounty rune. He's trying to kind of like juke it out, keep ahead of Jarex just because he's not sticky napalmed up. Here comes another sticky napalm though, and Jarex will claim the first blood as well as that bounty rune. So a very fortuitous rune pickup for Jarex. Guess he is replacing a little bit of S4's rune luck.
That's the reason that you check for those runes, just to see if they're there, because sometimes you get a little bit lucky and it completely changes a pro game like this.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, right, it's basically a 50% chance to be able to get some sort of ganking, right? You know, get a haste, get an invis, both of them will offer you same kind of opportunity to gank one of those side lanes.
Yeah, regen would be nice. You can use illusion to pull waves back, or maybe put more pressure when you do roam. It's definitely worth it to check. No-Tail in the safe lane's got 11 last hits, so he's doing quite well. Not quite matching Slark, but considering the Abaddon's been pressuring a bit more, not too surprising.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that it's impressive that Black is able to stay ahead of the opposing carry, No-Tail, even though he's having these guaranteed denies that's coming out from the Enigma. But that's probably Ice's just disruptive influence in the lane, causing No-Tail some issues, and taking a couple denies here and there. As you can see, he's 10-2.
So level 4 now, 4.5 actually for S4. The fast level 6 is certainly going to be an important thing this game. Oh, this is actually so abusive. I didn't even think about this. Batrider plus OD mid. He's got Essence Aura.
Oh, man.
20 mana chance, basically, to proc. How much mana pool is this refill? 10%?
Yeah.
He might be in trouble here, though. Frostbite's going to come.
He's going to be slowed down here, rooted up, and that'll be an easy kill for Jabs to be able to claim. Anna with a slight rebuttal there. Yeah. Throws out the Arcane Orb. That will be very efficient against the Morphling a little bit later on. Morphling is known to be very susceptible to any kind of mana burn.
Yeah, and not just that, he's got very low HP, maybe not very low, but moderately low HP and very high armor. Pure damage is the perfect solution to deal with a Morphling.
It really does seem like this OD pickup by OG may have just granted them a bit of a drafting win, but we'll have to see how it plays out as Jarex is currently body blocking up XY. No-Tail trailing along here, see if he can help out, but Ogre is so tanky. I'm not sure if they're actually going to be able to take him down. Let's see, they get the stun on to Jarex, gets a little bit more space. Ice is coming over. He's going to be able to get the shield, takes off the sticky napalm. Now the turnaround is available, but they don't have the mana from the Ogre. So nothing is going to happen. 1-1 still at 4 minutes.
Bat was waiting just a little bit long for the Batrider Firefly there. That's the only reason they didn't get that kill, but really good attempt. The body blocking is fantastic. And Auk's just going to spend some time in the jungle. That's what he's got to do now. He doesn't know that this camp is actually blocked, so he's wasting a little bit of his time here. Unfortunate for him, but still going to be efficient. And in the meantime, Fly is going to hope to sap some experience. So I would say that Faces is off to a pretty good laning start. Their mid lane has gone fairly well. They got the Batrider kill. Black has been getting pretty much free farm, and even the Abaddon has felt like he has his own lane here.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that really sticks out to me is that the Abaddon is having a great laning phase, and I feel like it is one of those offlaners who can accomplish a lot in a very long, drawn-out game, and it's kind of looking like it's going to be something like that. Abaddon offlane can accomplish a lot more than many other sort of the normal initiating offlaners, you know.
How do you like this OD build here? I saw Miracle do something very similar in his last game, where he went 3-1-3. I just assumed it was because of the Ember Spirit, but looking like he's going a similar build this game. Is this the new meta now, all of a sudden for OD?
It's probably based on the matchup, right? And for Morphling, there's more value in being able to get the constant intelligence steal off of that Morphling. And as long as you have enough mana from the Essence Aura, and I guess he feels like 2 levels is just enough.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
I don't know. Every single time I play OG and I max out Essence Aura, it doesn't proc for me, so.
Well, it's going to go down, I think.
Yeah, he's being chased down. There's not much they can really do to this one. Fly tries to juke it out. Ice is able to pick up that kill, has to give up his life for it. Kind of questionable whether or not that's fully worth it, simply because the Abaddon was a much higher level than that Shadow Shaman, a whole 2 levels above him. No-Tail is going to be the beneficiary of that trade-off.
It looks like pretty close on gold. It actually wasn't bad. Very similar experience change, but the faster level 6 on No-Tail now is going to mean it's even harder for them to pressure that guy.
He is just about to pick up that level 6, but Ice is here, and maybe they can actually kill him. Nope, the level 6 comes out. Maybe they can still burst him down. It's going to be close. Chemical Rage, slowly but surely healing him up. Ice has another Flooding Shield that's going to blow, but No-Tail was out of vision, so it doesn't actually hit him. He immediately removes the disable. They're going to turn on Jarex instead, claim that kill, and not much OG can really do to stop it. This is unfortunately the downside of having an Alchemist in the safe lane. He's simply just not a carry that can help you when the clash comes to the top lane.
That was the best time to be an Alch, though, in the sense that you just don't die. The clutch Helm of Iron Will there, giving him enough armor with his ultimate to actually stay alive. I really thought he was going to die. Without the Batrider body blocks, certainly was going to happen. But
yeah,
once again,
if he had actually stayed in vision, right, with the Aphotic Shield, maybe that burst damage would have killed him.
Yeah, might have. But once again, Nuts makes a really good rotation. It's not the first time he's done it. It's like I feel like he's been in almost all the kills. 2 out of the 3, but almost every time it was a Batrider pickup. They could pressure a Abaddon here, but not under the acid spray, so No-Tail just continues hitting creeps.
We've got 10 magic stick charges on Ice as well, and his ultimate is about to come off of cooldown as well. So
Anna's actually doing super well mid though, 49 and 20 versus the Morphling's 27 and 4. I think it's just because Jabs doesn't want to have to deal with getting hit by the orb all the time, because I mean, even one of the other times he was jungling, he had -6 intelligence. That's actually quite a bit of mana. It's like half of a waveform.
Stun out on Black. Malefice after the Dark Pact. It's going to cause a bit of damage. Black to be able to tank up, but hey, you're a Slark. All you have to do is disappear off the map for a little while, full regen, so you can always put pressure on offlaners like that and not really be punished too heavily.
Same goes for S4 though. Oh, I'm having a tough time, hit up the jungle, and then I jungle just as fast as just about any other hero. He's going his standard Midas build. He did get Arcane Boots first, probably because he did spend a lot of time in lane. You can't really get away with it as well if you're in the lane, if you skip that item.
XY and Nuts are going to be spotted out by Jerix's Bat Rider here. Looks like he wants to be able to run down Nuts. Now XY can turn around, throws out that stun. Nuts also throws out the slow in front of himself without having to turn around. That's kind of a cool play, but Nuts may still die here. The Euphonic Shield is going to help him out. Now Ice looks to be able to slow down Anna, but it's not quite enough. The rune is going to be enough to be able to finish off the Crystal Maiden, but now Anna is in way too deep, and Black's going to be able to clean up the kill. So nice play. Black having that TP rotation. Ends up getting a core kill traded off for the support Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, definitely not worth it for Anna there. He got a little too overconfident. It seemed like the easiest kill ever. You know, Shrine wasn't up. The CM just needed one more hit, but then the shield came out, and he just really thought that he could get away with that. But maybe the ward making him a bit overconfident, noticing no heroes, but by coming from the left, Ice just bought that extra time, and Anna fully committed.
And S4 immediately pushed out bottom lane, but the thing is, it's a Slark. It's a fast-moving hero, and they're still going to be able to catch S4 here. He does have a TP scroll, but he's just not going to be able to have the time to use it. Tries to use the Eidolons to finish off Nuts, but it's not going to happen. So Faceless, really excellent movement around the map right now, really punishing OG, because they're kind of running more of a static laning phase, and it seems like the two supports of Faceless are taking advantage of this big time.
There's just a little bit of net worth going towards Faceless right now. Very good for them, considering they're up against an Alchemist. He's ready to go on his armlet. He just has to get to the side shop, so should be fairly survivable from here on out. Abaddon going for a pretty safe build as well. Looks like he's going to go for the fast lads. It's kind of cool to see the builds update over the turn. The group stage saw a lot of Midases, but the teams that really started winning heavily in the first couple rounds seem to be, especially the end of the group stage and the first couple rounds of the main stage, seem to be the teams that didn't go ultra greed.
Now, that makes sense in some ways, right? Because there were also plenty of teams who were playing a lot faster. For example, Secret in the group stage. But this game specifically, I feel like it's going to be a little bit slower, right? We have two of these late game scaling cores. I would have thought that the Hand of Midas would have still been a potential pickup. Fly is going to be dove here. Once again, Ice looks like he might be trading away his life to be able to pick up Fly. He eats his way through the trees. Nice little juke out there. And he doesn't have an ultimate on Ice, so he's going to be caught here. Oh, the Euphonic Shield. Nice try, Fly, but you're going to go down, my friend. 7-3. Ice should be able to run away from this one. And bottom lane, they did make a movement there. Managed to pick up the Enigma, turn it into a push towards the offlane tower.
Oh, he used Black Hole as well. That's so bad for OG. Usually that first one is really important to grab a kill, but he's been constantly trying to push out the offlane. But the issue is that Alchemist is very easy to pressure, actually, especially pre-armlet here. So almost all of the OG supports and heroes have been rotating constantly to the safe lane, which means that there hasn't been as much space for somebody to come to where Enigma is and guarantee a kill. But all it really would take is maybe one hero, two heroes, like a Shadow Shaman in the offlane, to guarantee some disable, to chain the Black Hole together, something like that. But they just haven't had the opportunity.
And it's actually going a Hand of Midas as well. So if you look at Hand of Midas on Enigma, OD, and you have an Alchemist on your team, like, you're banking pretty hard that you're not going to be run over by Faceless by 20-25 minutes.
Yeah, and they have some decent heroes for it. I mean, heroes like Morphling or Slark sometimes just need one major item to make good stuff happen. On Morphling, it could be the E-Blade. It could even like something like a Linken's can really pay off too. So they definitely got to be careful. But with that said, I don't think they're the wrong heroes to buy Midases on. The OD's definitely the scariest when he does have Midas picked up. He accelerates into this insane right-click kind of carry. Enigma gets away with it so well once he gets to like level 15. So if they can just stabilize their game for like 10, something he could